Page 9 in church. 4/4 time, 1 sharp in the key signature. Actually, we are in the key of E minor. So you have G major and E minor. Each of those has 1 sharp in the key signature. This is in E minor. If you look at the last measure, you end on an E minor chord. It's an E minor. Lots of notes, lots of chords. Let's look at this one hand at a time. Rhythm's not a problem, just half notes and quarter notes. 1/4, a B and an E. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I want a 1, 3 on the next one. Don't forget the F sharp. B. Now at the end of the first line now, measure 4. I recommend you do a 1/4 fingering, because I was doing a 3 before, and then a 1/4. This way you're in position for measure 5, because you need a 1/3 here for the D sharp. Here. And then you're going to do that some more. The third line's the same as the first line. You go down to the measure 13. You're here, and then go down. That's it, and the thumb just covers the rest of it. Thumb comes down. And then 1, 3, 3, 5, 1. Left hand. Well, you have 4, 2 here, and 4, 1. Now for measure 4, I recommend a 3, 1. Because you've been doing 4, 2, do a 3, 1 for the whole note. This way we're in position for measure 5, because we're going to come down here. 5, 2. And the thumb covers this top note up here on measure 6. And in the third line, it's similar, well, it is the same as the first, except for measure 11, you're going to be here. But for measure 12, the whole note, I recommend you do a 2, 1. Change it from here to here. This way we're in position for measure 13, because I can do a 5, 2 on measure 13, and I just do a 5. They're saying 5, 1, which is okay, but I'm 2's on it. I'll just stay there. Then you can do a here, and then a 1. Fingering's kind of personal. You find one that works. You don't want to be moving around a lot. Put the hands together here, just. So there, both hands changed right there, but now I'm ready to go on. So you work that out. On these chords, you got 4 notes going down at the same time. Try and make sure they do, in fact, go down at the same time. Listen very carefully. My hand's in that position, I'm just lowering both hands together. Doesn't matter what fingers you use, just you're going up and down on this. You're not rocking back and forth here, it's all up and down. There's no real articulation, but we'll talk about the articulation in a minute, because there is phrasing in here that just isn't marked. You can hear it. You can hear the musical sentences. It happens to be every 4 measures, which in this case happens to be each line, only because each line happens to be 4 measures long. It doesn't mean a line has to be a phrase. It doesn't mean 4 measures has to be a phrase. It's just in this piece, the phrases are every 4 measures, which happens to be a line. It just happens. So we need to find a way, and we will, of putting in the phrasing. But we can't do it with the hands because it's all choppy. Dynamic-wise, this is tricky. You can go ahead and play them all the same. If you have the control, then play the top note in the right hand a little louder, and the bottom note in the left hand a little louder. Bring out the top and bottom note. if you can. At least see if you can bring out the top note in the right hand. That's really the melody, if there is one. Now we need to fix this because this is choppy. This is bad. So it's got the note in there underneath the staff at the beginning. It was with pedal. Oh, we get to use pedal. And we really need pedal to connect this and add some overtones and to help us put in the phrasing. So we're going to use the pedal to help us with the phrasing. It's going to be overlapping pedal or legato pedal or lag pedal or syncopated pedal or whatever you want to call it. The notes, the hands do their thing, and then the pedal. The pedal always lags behind the action of the hands. It overlaps them just a bit. So at the beginning it's here, and then I'm going to play the notes and change the pedal. And I'm going to change the pedal on the fourth beat. It's different. And again. And I'm going to change the pedal on the fourth measure too. I have the C in the third measure. I want to lose that, so I'm going to change the pedal. Here. And so I'm going to do that throughout. Just each time you're changing something, notes, whatever, the harmony, change the pedal. But do it after you play the notes so it overlaps that just a little bit. Then we can add in the phrasing. And that is at the end of each line, lift the pedal up with the hands so there's just a little silence before we go on. So measure 4, you're here. Lift it up. I'm not going to overlap it here. I'm going to lift up with it. I'll put it down after I play the notes and measure 5. Here and then here. This way I hear the phrasing. That's kind of nice in that way. You see, one of the things we have to consider when pedaling pieces is how much blurriness are we willing to withstand. Well, on fast pieces where the notes are flying by, it's not quite so bad because the notes are flying by. But when you have a slow piece like this, people have plenty of time to hear every single note. So I encourage you, keep that pedal, keep the changing coming anytime you're changing notes. If you blur it, like in the second measure, the last 2 notes, they've got plenty of time to hear that, rather than they've got time to hear that. So I'm recommending avoid that, especially in really slow pieces. If the piece were faster, it's no big deal. We could do that. Because it just flies by so fast, nobody notices. But when it's slow, you got time to hear it. And that changes things. Now, lento, I didn't talk about the speed. Lento is slow. This isn't exactly a party song. This is a real slow, sad song. This would be appropriate for funerals or something along that line. It's not a set speed. It's just slow. 1, 2, 3, 2. Somewhere along in there, you got to keep it slow. Well, that's a problem because that's slower than what we naturally want to go. We have a natural speed we like to go. So we do little things to help us because otherwise you'll start this out slow. And by the time you get down to about the third line, you've sped up. Well, we need something to help us not do that. So what I tend to do on really slow things is I subdivide the beat. I divide it up. So instead of thinking a 1, 2, 3, 4, I simply put an and. I think eighth notes. There are no eighth notes in it, doesn't matter. I'm thinking 1 and 2 and 3 because that speed is much easier for me to keep that steady than, I'm not going to speed that up. It's 1 and 2 and. I'm already going faster than I want to go. So that's what I'm thinking here when I'm playing this. 1 and 2 and. I'd like to play this with you nice and slow, maybe not as slow. We actually speed it up a little bit. I'll give us 4 counts. I'm not going to do the dynamics. There aren't much with dynamics, but I will do the pedaling as I see fit. So I may change it each time it changes. We'll see. I play it different every time I play it. I'll give us 4 counts. 1, 2, ready, go. 2. 3, 4.